Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Are you fed up with the corporate bullshit holding you back? Welcome to Invest in Yourself, the digital entrepreneur podcast, the ultimate launchpad for entrepreneurs ready to seize control and unleash their creative genius. Hosted by Phil Better, the Podcast Mogul. Each week he's breaking the chains of conventional work with bold strategies, raw insights, and inspiring success stories from the digital entrepreneurs who took the risk and invested in themselves. This is your call to arms. Invest in yourself. Break free from someone else's rules and build the empire you deserve. Now let's dive headfirst into today's explosive episode.
Welcome back to another fantastic episode of Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. I am with none other than Phil Better, the Podcast Mogul, and today guest is someone who is today's guest knows exactly how to help you step into the spotlight and claim your authority. If you're an author, entrepreneur, or a thought leader looking to make waves with your book, you're in for a treat, because our guest today is a seasoned book marketing expert and publisher with over 2 decades of experience as a celebrity publicist, award-winning journalist, and of course, an entrepreneur. She's worked with attorneys, wealth consultants, and business owners across the globe, empowering them to share their message and establish themselves as the true authority. Our guest has a remarkable ability to guide authors in transforming their book into powerful tools for influence and impact. We'll also dive into her latest book, Make a Big Impact with Your Book, and explore how she helps business owners become thought leaders. And if you ever wondered how to turn your expertise into a compelling book that grabs attention, then this episode's for you. So without further ado, let's get ready to learn from the best in the business. Please welcome Melanie Herschorn. Melanie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Phil. Can I take you with me everywhere I go and you can just announce me? Because that was amazing.
If you're willing to pay for everything that entails housing me, taking care of me, then yes, 100%, I will be more than happy to do that.
Awesome. Thank you.
I have to thank you. It's great to have you on the podcast. I'm very excited to chat with you because you're an expert in the business. Like I said, you're the best in the business. And I just want to pick your brain about everything, but we're going to start with the first question I always ask. Why did you decide to become an entrepreneur?
It was less of an I decided and more of it happened and it called to me and I couldn't stop myself.
Oh, I see. So when did it start? When did that call start and how fast did it take over your life?
I was a journalist working on the radio, and I planned to have a baby in a non-election year because that's what you do when you work in the news. And I was laid off when I was 5 months pregnant. And I went, oh my God, I'm unemployed and I'm unemployable. And I was able to freelance for a few months at a newspaper, but then we moved across the country and I had to start again. And instead of going and getting a job and paying a nanny or a caregiver more money than I'd be making, I had this idea and I couldn't shake it. I had to design and manufacture breastfeeding clothing.
That's an interesting take.
Right? And so I did. I had a friend in Toronto who had her own company. She made something completely different, but I thought, well, if she could do it, I bet I could figure it out too. You know, I'm pretty smart and resourceful. So I did. I figured it out, and eventually my clothes were selling on Nordstrom.com and on Amazon and in boutiques. And I had amassed a following on Instagram and on Facebook and a massive email list. And I was a business owner. I was an entrepreneur. And I loved the freedom of it in that I didn't have somebody telling me when I could go to the bathroom. And I didn't have somebody telling me what was okay to wear and not to wear, what was okay to say and not to say. And, you know, I'm a self-starter, so it's easy. The only problem is then you self-start every single day and you forget that you're your own worst boss and you could actually take time off if you wanted.
So then from there, how did you get into the publishing? Because it's like, obviously publishing still sticks with journalism because you're publishing things daily, but making and manufacturing maternity clothes to publishing, that's a gap. So how did that come about? Because that's interesting too. I love the idea that you were in Nordstrom's, Etsy, everywhere like that, making your big bucks, taking care of your family. But I want to know how what was the transition like?
I hired somebody to help me with my marketing, and she was toxic, and she belittled me every single day. She would say, Melanie, I don't know how you have a master's degree because you're really boring when you write marketing copy. And eventually I started to believe it. And my husband would say, but you're paying her. And I would say, yes, but I'm an online entrepreneur and she could ruin me online. So I eventually closed the business. And I said, now what? And I looked back at the career that I had had up until then, and I realized that the one thing that I keep doing is making people share their voices in one way or another, whether it's through, you know, writing stories or helping celebrities or helping new moms feel better about themselves. So I thought, well, you know what? I've been actually a business owner for 7-8 years now. I could probably help people with their marketing. And then it sort of evolved from there. I saw a gap in the market with authors because they all had books and no way to market them. So I stepped in there. And then when I went to publish my own book, and I had a pretty negative experience with a hybrid publisher, and I ended up pulling my book and self-publishing under my own imprint, I thought, why don't I just help every author from the beginning to the end so that they actually have a guarantee of success, as opposed to those who just write the book and then think that magically people will.
They'll find it. It's the internet. They'll find it. Everybody will find it.
As soon as you publish to Amazon, doesn't that make everybody find out?
Yeah, I thought Amazon just pushed it into everybody's cart and they bought it, but apparently not. Because we're talking with you, Melanie. Did you set up your own, when you went to self-publish, did you decide to create your own like printing company, or did you just say, no, I'm just going to put it under my own name?
No, it's it's an imprint. So it's a doing business as a DBA, or in this state, it's called something else, but whatever. It's the idea of $10 DBA. And so I made a logo and I set it up as a DBA, and that is officially the name of my publishing company, which is on the side and the back and the interior of my book. And that's what I help clients do too, because I don't want their their IP. I don't want to take royalties from them. I just want to support them in getting everything out into the world.
I love that. Oh, that's similar to me with podcasting. I love podcasting. I want to get 100 million podcasts out there and launch, right? That's my jam and butter, because everybody can have a podcast. So I love how you're helping them set up their own little printing company that they can continue to mass print, make more money, keep the revenue generating. Oh, genius. What is it about publishing and writing books that just keeps drawing you back to that?
I had trouble reading when I was in first grade or in grade 1, depending where you are. Technically I was in grade 1, but now I'd be in first grade. I remember everybody around me reading, and I just couldn't get the hang of it. And so I eventually figured it out by second grade, but I didn't like it. I was like, this sucks. I don't want to sit here with a book. This is boring. I could be watching television. And then there was a book fair, a scholastic book fair. We all had to go through those. They still have them to this day. And I found a book, and I was reading the back of it, and I went, oh, that's interesting. And I bought it, and I took it home, and it was a Judy Blume book. And then I proceeded to read it every night for the next 3 years. I kept rereading. I would open to a page and I would just read. And I just love the story so much. And that it was then that I went, one day I want to be an author. And so I thought, one day I will do that. And I never knew when. In grad school, I considered turning my thesis into a book, but it would have been obsolete before I'd even pressed published. And then I never really found, Side note, I have a really hard time committing to things in terms of naming things and, things that I know once it's done, that's it. Like I could never name my stuffed animals. I'll never get a tattoo. So I knew that when I wrote a book, because I didn't know if I'd have another one in me, it had to be perfect. It had to be one that would be one that I could talk about for years to come. And when I finally came up with that, it was such, a light bulb moment, an aha moment for me that, I can help people just make a big impact with their book.
I love it. Such a great answer. My God, you are like an amazing storyteller, I must say. The person who said you were bad at marketing, they are bad at marketing. Sold me. Like, Jesus. This is an interview. I'm trying to impress you, and you're impressing me every 2 seconds. I don't like being upstage on my own show.
You're not right. I'm going to elevate your voice. Don't worry.
I'm not worried about that at all. But I want to know, when was that moment you realized that your book marketing strategy, not only helped sell the books, but also position them as a thought leader? Like, did you already know that it would create thought leadership by selling the books? Or were you like, no, I just want you guys to sell more books so you make more money?
It was really even less about selling the books, because when you're not, you don't make a lot of money per book. I got a royalty check last month for $8, and I did a little happy dance. Exactly.
$8. Let's go.
1.5 drinks at Starbucks. Let's go. So it was more about, gosh, what a shame. You put all this work into a book and nobody knows about it. And I have the answer to help you get the word out about your book so that your voice can be amplified in the world, and you don't have to feel bad because nobody's buying your book, because all of a sudden they're going to start buying your book. So, and then, I grew up as an entrepreneur, and I went, okay, so let's learn more about what thought leadership is and really step into that and, helping people elevate their brands. And so I matured in my messaging, but in general, it just comes from maybe I want to say naive desire to help people who feel like their voice doesn't matter, to help them feel like it really does.
It's very interesting. I love that. It's a very heart-centric, and I like that, because we need more entrepreneurs, more heart-centric entrepreneurs, because just makes life better and happier. And I found that through the 600 episodes that I've done so far, I'm amazed every time that I've had the ability to talk with so many heart-centric entrepreneurs. Didn't believe there were so many out there, but there's so many more. Speaking of the future, I want to know, where do you see yourself in the next decade? So you're already done 2 decades now, probably even more. You're still young. You're young. You're not even in your second quarter of football yet, so you're good. But what do you see in the next decade? Where do you see yourself, your company, what the industry, whichever one of those you want to touch on? But where do you see yourself?
All of them.
So
I'm going to leave the industry to the end, because that's an AI conversation that we need to have. But in terms of me and my company, so our favorite people to work with are attorneys, because they have so much knowledge to offer. And it is such an incredible way to help them stand out from the fray and to really, get more clients by sending a book to somebody. So getting my company out there as the go-to publishing house for attorneys, wealth advisors, and business owners who really want to elevate their brand and their reputation and have a marketing plan built into their book, not just a book in and of itself. And then the industry, there have been so many changes, even over the past 10, 15 years. Self-publishing used to be like, you'd hear whispers in the corner. Don't tell anyone. Exactly. Don't tell anyone.
Don't give our secret.
Yeah. But now, there is no stigma attached. In fact, maybe I hang out in the wrong places, but I think there's a stigma attached to being traditionally published, because you're so boxed into what you're allowed to do. And I can't imagine giving away my intellectual property. That would make me bananas. So that is one piece of it. But then there's also the piece of AI. And, right now, as things stand on this day, some publishing platforms say, just let us know there's AI in it. Others say, we're not really okay if you publish a book that has AI. It's been done with AI. And, everything that I learn about AI, I love using it for marketing and stuff. The goal is to use it as a tool, not as a doing it for me so I don't have to think anymore. Because it's going to be pretty obvious that you didn't think and you just wrote a how-to manual. Anybody can do that, but nobody can recreate how you share a story that was your own personal experience. And, making those connections. Like, one of my favorite things, I remember when I was in grade school, we'd have to make a connection between paragraph 2 and paragraph 3. And I would just be like, okay, what is the connection? We love making connections to our world, connections to each other. So AI can't do that for us. It's really good at helping us come up with what to post on LinkedIn, but it's not going to replace the author.
I'm glad that you brought up AI, because I fully agree that it's a tool. It's another thing you put in your belt as an entrepreneur, as an author, as a game designer, whatever it is, a coder. It's there to help you become better at what you do. You bring it the sauce and it finishes up. It says, maybe add a little more salt to it, or add this to it. But yeah, it's an incredible tool to use, and I'm glad that you're looking forward to how it can help in marketing and creating the next thought leader from your publishing house. What made you decide to focus on that, the particular attorneys and financial planners? Yes, let's take away the money aspect, because all entrepreneurs want money, but why specifically them was your targeted audience?
Because I feel like those are the things that I don't know. And I learn this regularly. I don't understand all the financial things that I wish I did. I don't know when you're actually common law. I don't know what it's really okay to expect when a divorce is happening. And I figured, if I don't know this stuff, most other people probably don't either. And then when I had a relative go through a really messy divorce, and everything that would have happened on television didn't happen in real life, I went, there's something to this. There's got to be a way that attorneys can let potential clients know what to really expect. And then it was just like this beautiful marriage almost to go from divorce to marriage. And it made me feel like I found my people almost, because I can sit and listen to an attorney talk about random cases all day like this.
I take it you're a true crime podcast fan as well.
Not.
You're not? Oh my God, that's so weird.
Well, I'll tell you what. Okay, so I tried to listen to one for the first time a couple weeks ago. And it was, I felt like they could have done the whole story in one episode. They didn't need to drag it out over 7 episodes. And I got bored because I need things done like this. So,
Okay.
So no, if you wanted to tell me a story over the course of 10 minutes, I'm totally happy to listen. It also could be because I love my mom, and she's a really good storyteller if you like to hear the story from the beginning of time. So she will call me and she will say, "You'll never believe what happened." And I'll say, "What?" And she'll say, "Well, 3 weeks ago." And I say, "Hold on, just get to the end. What's the lead? You're burying the lead. Get to the bottom of it. I don't want to wait for the answer." So I think that's probably why I don't listen to true crime podcasts.
Makes sense. But so you just love learning from these authors.
I love learning from attorneys.
Sorry. Yeah.
And from wealth advisors who, I love learning from people. That's one of the reasons I absolutely loved being a general assignment reporter, was because I never knew what I was going to learn that day. And one of my favorite things to do is to take really complex things that people barf on me and to just distill it down into something that we can all understand.
That is a skill that not many have and is super important, because I think we need to take some of the higher items up here and distill it for the masses so that they can understand it, grow and invest in themselves. And speaking of investing in themselves, look at that segue, like a professional.
I love it.
Like I haven't been doing this for so long, but I want to know, how do you invest in yourself? Like, what do you do to make sure that you're on the top of your game and you're always, apart from learning from attorneys and wealth planners and the people who have all that smarts, but what do you do like on a daily basis?
Okay, so mindset. I invest a lot in my mindset, whether that's a coach or a book that I read. So that piece of it. I invest in the things around me, like the tangibles, like my wardrobe. It's important to me that I dress the part and have actual fingernails, because I bite. You wouldn't know though, right? No, I bite my nails. I look put together. And I invest in tech, not like I wish I was like, I just before it became, I mean in my tech stack. I make sure I pay ChatGPT $21 a month, things like that. I invest in things that are going to make this is smoother, easier. I have an assistant who helps me out, those kinds of things. So I invest in, what else I invest in? I invest in having somebody do my laundry. Phil, that's changed my life.
I can only imagine how that changed your life.
It is not even that expensive. And now, like at first my husband was like, "Oh, we don't need to do that. You can just do the laundry." And I was like, "Well, I could, or it would make me miserable." And now we send it out and it comes back the next day folded. Yeah.
If for those that don't know, I nearly had a heart attack because the folding is the worst part of laundry.
It's doing the worst part.
If oh God, the chair, like when you're a bachelor, I don't know about single.
I've never been a bachelor, but I can imagine
the chair.
Oh, you mean where you drape all the clean clothes?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's universal.
Okay, good. Because whenever I went to ladies' houses, they never had the chair. I always had the chair.
They just hid it in the closet.
Oh, yeah. We don't have men don't look for big closets because we don't have closet space. Okay, I see what. Letting in some secrets here, not only in the publishing world, but also in life, and the laundry world. Yes. I do want to know, because I know we probably have some authors who are listening. And I want to know, what's one problem you see a lot of authors when they're promoting their book do that's somewhat of an easy fix that can just get them over that little hump maybe and get ready to go on?
Yeah. So I would say it's they put all their eggs in one basket with the launch, and then they end up suffering launch trauma. And they go, wait a second, that was so exciting, and now nobody's buying my books. It's come down to a trickle, and now I'm just going to hide in a corner and forget I even wrote a book because now I just have so much shame around it. So having a long-term plan, knowing that there will be a lot of excitement around the launch, but that you have a plan for the future, that you wrote a book for a reason, and you already have a plan for how you're going to, leverage that book for greater stuff for your business, whether it's, going on amazing podcasts with the Podcast Mogul, or speaking on a stage, or doing a giveaway with other people who have books or who have a similar program to you, and growing your audiences that way. As long as you can see the bigger picture and not get stuck in the weeds. People who write books get stuck in these really long weeds, and I have to sort of come with a weed whacker and knock them down and say, it's going to be okay. Don't focus on the launch. That part's going to be fun and great and whatever. Let's focus on the long term. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Like that. I like how you it's a marathon. It's true, because it's just ongoing, because if you want to continue being the thought leader, you need to keep promoting the book, keep going, and keep connecting and selling more books to become bigger and better. When's your next book?
Oh, okay. So what'd you expect? I was going to be like, I don't know.
I don't know.
No. Okay. So I'm in the process of gathering, and so I'm doing interviews because I want to include other people's voices in my book. It is a book, I'll tell you high level, it's a book about why attorneys benefit from writing books.
Makes sense. You're going after your target audience, and I'm going to have an idea that the next one may be focused on wealth planners.
It's
a possibility.
Who knows? It's possible. But I'll tell you, the first time I published a book, I went, well, that was fun. Once and done, I'm never doing this again. And then a little while went by and I went, I have an idea. And then I started, and this time around, it's a lot easier because I have, some people like to write 30 minutes a day. It makes them feel good, whatever. I'm the kind of person who writes in spurts of 6 hours at a Starbucks. I keep mentioning Starbucks. I will sit at Starbucks for 6 hours, not even realize it's been 6 hours, and bang out 3 chapters. And then I wait a couple months, and then I do it again.
I go weeks, but not necessarily writing, but doing something for my podcast business or something. Yeah. It could be a couple of days, but I'll just sit down. I don't go to Starbucks. I find them too sugary, and I'm trying to cut back on sugar.
Do you go to the Second Cup then?
I go to a Tim Hortons.
Oh,
yes. I can't go to any of those places here. So yes, yes. I go to the Canadian version of Starbucks, go to Tim Hortons, and I just get I sit down, have
your double and your donut. No.
Yeah, pretty much. My hot chocolate. I have my hot chocolate because I don't drink coffee. Funny enough, I'm not a coffee drinker, and I'm naturally this energetic. It's weird.
Amazing. I'm just a caffeine addict.
Oh, I never got into that. I never got into that caffeine addict. And I can just pound, just go disappear for hours at a time, and then I think, okay, I'm going to go do it, and I'm like, I'm not in the mood.
Yeah, you have to be in the mood.
Yeah. It's just this weird, there's this switch, and if you don't jump on that switch, you've lost it. But what is the most problematic problem that you faced in your journey? I know it's a weird question, but a problem that
problematic ones.
Yeah, the other ones are easily solved because you look at it okay, this is solvable. There's a solution, but sometimes you get to a problem and it's is this solvable? And have you come up to one of those in your journey so far?
Yeah. Yes. it was when I went to publish with a hybrid publisher, and I realized that I didn't trust them. And I went, what am I going to do now? How am I going to publish my book? And I took some time and I thought, you know what? I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to figure out who I know already who can help me get out of this jam. And I did leave the money, left the money with them. I wasn't going to fight it, but I clung on to my intellectual property. And I said, nope, I'm taking this baby elsewhere. And it was scary, and I didn't know what I was doing. But then I figured it out. And so even my most problematic problem was solved.
I still love it. No, because it is a problematic problem, because people are like, because you're betting on yourself, right? You have the sure bet, but you have to give up, or you're betting on yourself. And for a lot of people, that is a problematic problem, because they've never really bet on themselves. So I'm glad that your problematic problem was solved. I love that word. It's amazing. But we're coming to the end of the episode, which I disgustingly discussed. But we will. Yeah, I know it didn't make sense in my head either, so it's fine. You think I would be a pro at words at this point, but I'm not.
Well,
it's okay.
I'm still thoroughly enjoying myself. So please.
Good. As long as you're thoroughly enjoying yourself. I want to know, I have your 10-year-old self here. She's a wonderful princess, but what is one piece of advice you would love to hand back to your 10-year-old self?
Well, it's to keep believing in yourself and don't let the naysayers steer you away from that. I didn't have the best upbringing. I'm not going to say it was a wonderful childhood, but I always, no matter what people were saying to me when I was a kid, I always knew what I could do. I always believed in myself. But then as I got older, I started letting the outside voices in. So I would say, keep ignoring those outside voices, because you'll get farther faster if you do.
I love it. Great piece of advice. Even now, we need to have it 10 years old to now. It's always beneficial to have that kind of advice. Melanie, you're definitely going to be coming back, because I love your energy, and I know we're going to have another amazing interview, and there's thousands of questions I can ask you. But I'm going to jump off stage right now. I want you to let my audience know where they can find you, connect with you, all that fun stuff. So the floor is yours.
Hi, everybody. If you want to figure out how to make a big impact with your book, well, you can grab a copy of my book, which is right here. And everything is available online at yourbigimpactbook.com. And I'm on all the socials too.
Easy peasy, beautiful cover girl. That's how we do it here. Melanie, I want to thank you so much for being an awesome guest. I had such a fun time laughing and hearing all your stories, and I can't wait to talk to you again.
Thank you. This was so much fun.
I'm glad. To my audience, make sure you check out the show notes down below to connect with Melanie, because you definitely want to do that if you're looking to self-publish as a attorney or wealth planner, wealth financial planner, or anyone else in between. If you're looking to promote that book of yours, you should definitely check her out. I thank you all so much for listening. Thank you, Melanie, again for being here. And remember to always invest in yourself.
Thanks for joining us on Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. The Podcast Mogul reminds you that your journey to freedom and success starts with one powerful move: investing in yourself. If today's episode sparked your fire, hit that follow button on Spotify and drop us a comment. Share your wins, your challenges, and what drives you to break free from the corporate grind. Remember, you're your best investment. Always invest in yourself, because your potential is limitless. Until next time, keep hustling and take control of your destiny.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.